We're learning life, embracing love, managing marriage, maneuvering in ministry, and managing money. Welcome to the Let's Talk About It podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, what's up? Who's ever listening out there to this podcast? Are you watching the channel on YouTube? You know, I post it later. So if you're watching now podcast, you're hearing this first. This is where we talk about life, love, marriage, ministry, and money. Yes, we talk about these things on this podcast. First of all, I want to shout out to every new subscriber. Thank you so much for listening to this old girl from Texas. I appreciate you so much for being a part of this podcast family, podcast community, as we learn to grow, glow, and go to the next level in our life. But most of all, see ourselves through God's eyes and not people. So I thank y'all for rocking out. I have some amazing things to discuss today. Today, we're going to be talking about, I wish I had the little drum roll, please. We're going to be talking about money. I have never discussed money on here, but I am excited and elated to talk about money, dealing with business. For those that don't know, I'm not just a wife, a mother, pastor alongside my husband. I'm not just that, but I'm also a business owner, and I do business with my honey dip. I do business with him. And so if you didn't know that, Harden Enterprise Services LLC, where we own a couple of businesses up under that umbrella. But my main thing that I do outside of what we already do from construction, real estate, all of that, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you didn't know, yes, I am a business owner alongside him. That's what I do every day. I work for the business every single day. So, Monday through Friday. I work for the business. So with that being said, I have some amazing people on. Of course, you know, I'm going to have my honey dip. Say hey, husband.
How y'all doing out there? The Let's Talk About It podcast viewers and listeners.
Yes. And then I have another amazing couple. Say hello, y'all.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Listen, I'm so glad to have this couple on. So we're going to dive in because I don't want to keep them too long because they are also business owners. And we're going to talk about their business as well. But this conversation, and you'll learn out more, but let me introduce them first for my listeners that are listening on. Kind of introduce you guys and tell them who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, whatever you want to talk about, just kind of introduce.
Okay.
Well, we're the Fords. My name is Patrick, and this is my queen, Jasmine. We are originally from, we just moved out to Texas from California. We're both pastors. We've been married for a glorious 16 years, and there's 7 total children. We have 2 sons together. I mean, we love the Lord with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength. He is everything to us, and man, wherever he leads us, we follow, and we followed him right into this business that we're about to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And so we have a company called Thy Kingdom Come Productions, LLC. And we sell and install LED video walls and digital outdoor signage. Primarily, we started working with churches, installing that beautiful LED video wall behind the praise team, and it has expanded. We've done them in hospitals and TV studios and things of that nature. So we're trying to grow our business, and it's a family business as well. So I homeschool, so we also take our family with us when we do jobs all over the United States. We take the family. And so we're trying to raise up our sons and teach them the business. So one day my husband and I will just point and they'll just do, and then they can take over.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. I love it. And tell them the name of your business again.
Thy Kingdom Come Productions, LLC. And our website is thykingdomcomeproductions.com.
Awesome. Make sure you go check them out, and they're going to tell you more here in a minute, but you definitely want to go check them out. I want to say thank you so much to the Fords for being a part of this with us. I know we both wear the hat of pastors, but you know, when it comes to business, they just know us as Patrick and Jasmine and Clyde and Tonya, you know. So it's like in this, it's totally different. And I'm learning that, you know, we bring God everywhere we go. But at the same time, it's like business is business, sign this contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a lot of my, I want to ask a question because
Yes, sir.
Pastor Tonya's viewers and listeners, you know, they always heard you talk about so many different things, but this is different. This is entrepreneurship. This is the scariest thing in the world. One thing we teach that there are 4 major ways to make money. Number 1 is to be an employee. Number 1 to be a bit self-employed, and then thirdly to be a business owner. And number 4 to be investor. That's a whole other class. But we found out that being employed and being self-employed is almost the same thing. Business owner is much scarier. So I'm gonna ask a question for those who are listening who like, okay, they just, you ever heard the saying, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Also, we wasn't born entrepreneurs. What were you before you actually started the business journey? Who were you then? What did y'all do then?
Well, I am a licensed barber for the last 28 years.
Yeah. And I was I graduated from SMU for all my Texas people. Woo-hoo. And I studied dance. So I've been a professional dancer and actress for umpteen years. And I had a dance studio. And so when COVID hit, we had to pivot because California shut down all the service businesses. So my studio shut down. He was in downtown LA at a barbershop, and everything shut down in downtown LA. So we had to pivot, and we were introduced to the LED video wall business, and he is amazing. So it just took off from that.
Well, look, I had like 1 screwdriver.
And that's important.
Never touched the computer. I wasn't anywhere at any time involved in LED screens, installing them, learning the things that come with. I had zero knowledge in this field.
And that's what I want to bring up.
Yeah, they baited me in because they started off the day with prayer, and then they went into worship, and they knew that, hey, I'm a prayer and I love to worship. So I was more drawn to that than this, because this was like speaking Russian to me. I'm like, they found it very amusing the first day I jumped up and was like, hallelujah. And they're like, oh, you got to sell? I was like, no, I turned on the computer without asking. And I just kept praying like, Lord, if this is really what you want me into right now, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to give me wisdom, Lord. You're going to have to show me, give me insight on these things. And well, like I said, we can ask anything in his name and it shall be done according to his will. And
come on.
6 months later, they were calling me a professional, sending me all over.
Are you serious?
Months later.
So with 1 screwdriver.
Now I have a warehouse full of tools.
And so you just started doing it.
Look, and I know the way that we do it is the way that the Lord showed me how to do it. So I know our installations go far above and beyond what most people do on their installations, because I've seen other screens and I was like, I don't even know how this is standing up. Like, you guys would be in fear of this thing falling on people.
And I love his work because, when you look at a seamstress work, you turn it inside out and you want to see the work on the inside. Well, his screens are beautiful on the backside as well as the front. And then if you're into carpentry or lines or building things, all the men will walk to the backside and, and take a look at everything, but it's beautiful uniform. And so it's just gorgeous back there with all the wires. It doesn't look a hot mess. And so it looks just as beautiful on the backside as the front. Yeah. And that's, we just love that. We love doing business, and we love the look on people's faces when the screens light up for the first time. Oh. It's just so beautiful. Like everyone stands in awe. We usually try to record that moment, but we get just as excited. It doesn't get old for us.
I got goosebumps just thinking about it, because I tell them all, man, if this could feed my family and pay my bills, I wouldn't ask you for a dime, because this expression on your face isn't enough for me to say, oh man, I'll do it all over again. Yeah. And that's why I love to do it, because that initial reaction. I mean, I've seen the group of 8 people just chopping it up, and then I hit that button that sends the signal, and they all stop like Jesus just walked in the room. And then their mouths fall to the ground, and here comes the cameras. Click, 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 click. Doing videos. And I'm like, exactly. That's the response that you should have when we finish. Yeah.
Wow. Can I ask one more question? Pastor, can I ask one more question? So,
yes,
And this is what we're trying to see, because so many people out there in entrepreneur in the world of Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 rat race, they're afraid to make that move you made. Because even though you was a barber in a barber shop, I'm pretty sure you was a barber maybe working with other people, and kind of was easy, even in the studio. You was moving on something that you were comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it for you to convert? Because you converted because you was forced. COVID forced you to convert. And some of us are being converted because, God forced us to convert. And you say God showed you God. How hard was it for you to convert? I mean, when you saw it and you had to literally walk in a whole new arena, how was that?
Okay. Now, this might not be for everyone, all right?
Okay.
But look, that last day at the barbershop, I'll never forget, before I locked the door, the Lord told me, he said, okay, you have a decision to make right now, and you're going to make it right now. Either you're going to do COVID, or you're going to do life and life more abundantly. But you're going to make that decision right now. I said, oh, surely, Lord, I'm choosing life and life more abundantly. He said, good, wise choice. And from that moment on, he just poured out a blessing on us that we didn't have enough room to contain it all.
Oh my God.
And he just came home and said, baby, I think I just want to come home. And I was like, okay, I felt such a peace about it. But we knew that there were things that we didn't know, just like we still know. But I do know this, that we were hard workers. And so we knew that if God is calling us to something, he's going to keep laying out the path. And but he doesn't lay the whole path out. It's step by step. When you walk in obedience, the first thing was him just coming home. That was what God said to him.
Come on, that part.
Come on, just do that one thing and be obedient to that one thing. And then the next part of the path lights up for you. And so that's what it was. And even when he said, oh, baby, I just want to come home. And I was like, what? Like, and thinking about, okay, where's the income? It just didn't even enter at the time. I felt God's peace on it because we were following him. And I think too many times, like when I think about standing and like dying, like standing face to face with the Lord, I think about, I don't want the Lord to say, oh, I had this for you and that for you, and showing me all these things he had for me, but I was too afraid to step into them. That would be worse. That would be just, they said there are no tears in heaven, but I would just feel devastated that the Lord had assigned me something. And it could be just as simple as starting a business, not knowing, but just obey God. Dr. Charles Stanley, our favorite teacher, he said, obey God and leave the consequences to him.
Ooh.
And so
I'm still in that.
Wait a minute.
Yes, he has 12 life principles. He went home to be with the Lord last year, I believe. But one of his top one was obey God and leave the consequences to him.
He said that every day, every time his sermons came on TV. That was his staple. That was his stamp on it. Like, look, just obey God.
Just obey him.
And leave the consequences to him. And I was like, you got that right, Dr. Charles Stanley. I mean, who better hands could you be in besides the Lord? He made the trends. Look, I had never been able to spend so much time with my wife and my kids. So I welcomed that. Like, look, Lord, you promise you supply for our every need, so I don't even mind, like, whatever. And he just supplied for it. And so the transition for us went fairly smooth outside of me being an old dog learning new tricks. Every time
I love it.
Just being, because God is faithful, he's not just concerned about the spiritual things in your life. He's also concerned about the financial things in your life, the direction that he's taking you in your life, the obedience in your life, your faith, or are you really going to do what he asks you to do? Even if it's something you've never done before, are you going to sit there on your hands and just say, well, maybe not right now.
Right.
Oh, I was like, you know what, Lord, if this is you, look, Lord, if this is really you, you'll work this out.
Yeah.
Leave the consequences to God, and he worked it out. And
I'm gonna let my wife slap my hand because I know this is her platform, baby. So at any time you tell me, baby.
No, honey, I'm loving this because I told Bishop when we even started the Lion's Den that that we would, and to my listeners, we'll talk about that later, but I told him, I said, I want to do an assessment with all of the Lions Den's members so that we can learn them.
Yeah.
You know, and learn about their business. So I'm loving this. I'm learning. So do your thing. I'm sitting up here like, I didn't know, you know, to hear someone's story in business, because some people think that it just happened. Like, and you have all the knowledge and all the wisdom, and you've done this before, and this is, you know what you're doing. No, I don't.
No.
I have no idea.
No.
I'm really on faith without works is dead. Like, I'm really walking on that.
Yes.
And I'm just walking on faith, but I'm doing it afraid.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize that.
Yes.
We're doing it afraid. And this lets the person I'm praying, anyone that's listening, is letting them know y'all sound the same way. You did it on faith, but you did it afraid, but you did it.
Yes.
And you're doing it.
Yes.
So yeah, baby, ask whatever questions.
Yeah, so next question I got, because I mean, we talked about the one screwdriver and the inability to use, we talked about locking the door of the barbershop and God speaking to you with only a screwdriver and lack of technology and abilities, with a wife that was crazy enough to roll with you, right? Then we talk about the screens and people looking at it and just in awe. But and that's the beautiful picture. That's the picture that Paramount and Hollywood would tell you. He went from one screwdriver to the screens, and it was a beautiful story, right? What make the story even more powerful is that I remember a couple of weeks ago, but month of June, we've been doing business for 3 years. The month of June, we had no jobs. I mean, literally drought. I want to talk about real quick for that entrepreneur.
They like us too.
Yeah,
for the listeners, wait, because we got a video, but I want the listeners to know they just pointed at themselves.
Yeah,
businesses go through. Businesses still go through.
Yeah. So we was there, and we was like, man, and we didn't quit.
No,
we didn't give up, and we didn't give up because we knew God told us to do this. That's another story. But talk about that. Talk about that moment after you left the barbershop and you trusted God. What about that first time you felt like, man, did we make a mistake?
I love it.
I would say that was more when we were here in Texas, when we got here to Texas, because that was really stepping out in faith, because our comfort zone, all the people that we was working with in this industry, they were all going to be 1,500 miles away from us. So we had to come out here and reestablish ourselves. And that, to me, was the real beginning of our company, because we had so many other people with us back in California that were actually pursuing. It was kind of easy to get caught up in that flow of things. But when we came out here, it's now just her and I, and we're with, no family, no friends. We're out there trying to introduce ourselves, and man, it's been tough. It's really not this. If you're talking about a struggle, it's been a struggle, just because we didn't know all the things about running our own company.
Right.
So that's why we're here with you guys. You guys have been beyond measure a blessing to walk us through all of the things that I don't like to do things twice, but you take us through it to where, look, if you do it this way, there's a good chance that, you're going to see results. And so that's one reason why we're so grateful to be here, because without knowing the knowledge that you guys have given us, we would probably still be making the same mistakes, not balancing our books, not paying ourselves, all these little things that we weren't doing. So getting the business in the position that it is today, ready now we're ready for the overflow of business, because it has been slow, you guys. Look, the rent has been late, the warehouse payment has been late. Come on, I can keep going on and on. We came home and God forbid the electricity was off one time, so it's not like we're not.
Come on, that part.
That never said, what, hey, we just need to scrap this. And no. God is faithful, because electricity is on, because the rent is paid.
That part.
And we don't consign to, like when God tells you to do something, you feel that call to go start your business. And then there are obstacles that come along the way. well, I think it's just a test of your faith. I mean, did you really hear him? Did you,
Right.
you really feeling like you felt him in the beginning? It's really easy to get excited when you're just, making the logo and coming up with the slogan, if that's the fun part. But there comes a time where he says, walk before me, be perfect. And he steps back. And then you have all these obstacles. I keep repeating what I know he said.
Come on.
He said, go forth. He said to come to Texas, move to Texas. We did that. Whenever we hear his voice, we just move. And when we see an obstacle, we don't step back and say, oh no, maybe. I mean, we struggle like, okay, Lord, but what he initiated, he will sustain. And so we stand on that we don't back up. We just keep moving forward. And you have to watch the inner dialogue that you're having within yourself. I remember one time, it was for our biggest client thus far. We had a huge, I'm not even gonna tell you how much the check was, but it was huge. I'll tell you on sidebar. For us, it was we had never seen a check for that much. It was a deposit on 2 screens. And we took it to the bank and the bank lost the check. And it was a cashier check. It's a cash, so that's money. And I had to fight with the bank. I had to fight. And when
10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
And then we called the issuing banks, just the manager, and asked them, okay, we have this cashier's check from, our client, is there some way that we can cancel this one? And they say, no, it will take 91 days.
Woo!
So now it looks like we're mismanaging, and they never thought that. And we, I had to fight the bank. And what helped us was we had friends of ours who used to work for a bank. And so I got a chance to call, like the Holy Spirit put them on my heart. And I'm like, 91 days, what are you going to do? And I called someone who has been in business, but they had worked for a bank. They detailed, this is what mentorship looks like. They detailed, what we should do. And then within an hour of me doing what they told me to do, the regional manager was calling me and fixed everything.
My prayer was like, look, Lord, if I was the regional manager, I would just shut the bank down, open up the ATM and pull their check out of there. And then he called us and said, you know what? We're going to shut the bank down. We're bringing in the Brinks truck. They're going to open up and we're going to go through every check until we find yours.
Wow.
Shut up. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes.
But when you know that you've been called to something, it doesn't mean you're not going to go through obstacles, but God's going to be in the midst of that. And he's going to help you, but don't go backwards.
Right. Come on.
In my language, y'all literally are speaking our language, right? A couple months back in June, we went through that devastation of, not having one call at all. And knowing that we was following God, and we knew we wasn't going to quit. We was going to cry. We was going to whimper. We was going to, look at each other crazy. But we called a couple who sounds like us, who trust like us. And we said, hey, man, tell us something to keep us open. And he said something. And so y'all talking right now, don't they sound so much like us, baby?
A lot like us. I always say this is that, and it's, I don't know, I think it's my new anthem. God does not change his mind.
No, he doesn't.
He is not a God that changes his mind. If he told you to start a business, and then you turn around and you shut that business down, we have no idea. Come here. Oh, I'm about to go somewhere. We have no idea the mantle that we just put on our entire legacy. When we shut our businesses down, you just shut your mouth. You just shut your legacy. You just shut your entire financial breakthrough for your entire family because you weren't willing to go through the process. You weren't willing to go through the pain. You weren't willing to go through the adversity. And unfortunately, but fortunately, we have to go through that in business.
Yes.
And here's the thing. How about in life?
How about that?
Life. How about that? Let's just get there. How about that? So in life, you have to go through those things because I told Bishop this. If we never, I'm telling you, baby, okay, y'all know I'm hood. So here we go. Look, but we had so much money coming through here. I was like, ooh, like this is what business is like. So imagine if we didn't have that downtime. Imagine if God didn't allow, we would have thought that this is the way that business is.
Yes.
We needed adversity. We needed, okay, how are we going to pay this truck note? We needed, okay, how are we going to pay this insurance for this business? We needed those moments just like we did in life. In life, we were pastors and homeless.
Yes.
We can't tell, how could we cover other pastors if we never been homeless? How can we mentor other people in business if we've never been hit in business? We cannot, and I don't believe that's the last hit. Come here. I just feel it in my shanana. It's not the last. It's the beginning, but it's going to stretch us.
Next time we get a June, we're going to actually take a break instead of cry the whole month.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, that's Sabbath. That's a whole Sabbath month.
We actually gonna sleep, and we actually gonna go on vacation. Not vacation, homecation.
Yeah.
We're actually, because we ain't gonna have no money to be doing all that. We just gonna go on vacation, because my thing is, we were so busy, stressed. When we've already seen the hand of God, we've seen God do things, we've seen miracles. God is still a miracle working God in your business. We've seen miracles. God, when God said, okay, you need an employee came to the front door of our house. Make that make sense.
Hold on, you got to sort of. I literally, we was in the middle of business, and God told me one day. See, it's moments like that. I told a pastor the other day, I had breakfast with him, I had dinner with him. I said, we got to start doing like Abraham. Every time Abraham had a moment with God, he built an altar and left stone. And I believe them altars and stone was always remind him where he last saw God. And so we got to start building some mental altars and some mental, pillars of God, right? So I told him, I said, man, is that whenever God make this crazy move, you got to remember. So we sitting there, and God told me, says, you're doing business enough inadequately. Now I need you to be adequate. I need to have more people. I said, okay, God, what are you going to do? And literally 2 days later, my door rings. Ding dong. I said, hello? He said, yeah, I was pulling around the community, and all of a sudden I was led to come down here and give you my business card. I'm a carpenter looking for work.
What?
I said, you know what? I literally almost slammed a door in his face. You know what?
Peter's at the door.
And so I get the card, I put it on pocket. I said, I'll call you if I need you, right? We traveled to Atlanta, and we're we doing stuff. And I said, you know what? I really should have got that guy information. I should have called him.
Wait, let's pause and say this, because God said you are no longer a business, but you're a company.
Company.
And you need employees. You're no longer, because there's a difference. You're not a business, you're a company. So I need you to start hiring some people. So go ahead, husband. Yeah.
So in Atlanta and everything. I said, man, you know what? I really should have got this guy information. I should have called him. I left his card at home. I should have called him because I really do need the help. We in Walmart. I thought that at the hotel. We get to Walmart and he calls me. I just wanted to follow back up on you and see if you still need some help. As soon as I get back from Texas, we're going to talk, and you hired. And literally doing that many times, right? So when we get in those moments of Junes, let's call it June. We're going to name it our June moment.
Yeah.
June moment. That helped me to look back and say, hold up, I didn't ask for this.
Right.
Very first time we got our first contract, I was trying to do a business consulting company, and a woman called me and said, hey, I heard you got a construction company. And I didn't change the mind. I said, yeah, we got a construction company. She said, we just got a load of money come through our county. We want to make you the general contractor for our entire county. I pivoted off of the business consulting. Construction.
We've never done construction a day in our life. Never picked up a hammer. Never. Come on. Don't that sound familiar?
I had a drill, but so she said it starts. This is like Wednesday. She said it starts Monday. We got to start doing stuff Monday. So I had from Wednesday to Monday to find a contractor.
Wow.
Called around. This one guy says, yeah, I need some work because my dad died. I just started working with my dad. I got a trucks full of tools, but my dad found all the work. So he needed somebody to find work. I needed somebody with tools.
Wait.
That's made in heaven.
Wow.
Listen, and here's the thing, and this is what I'm finding out in business as well, is that it wasn't just God assigned. Y'all know me. I go.
Blessing somebody right now. I want y'all to know we blessing somebody right now.
Yeah, God will assign people to you even in business. Come here. He assigned this guy to us. Wow, because he was, on drugs and experiencing all of that, and the entire time he was with us, his mom said that he had never been out of jail that long, and it was about a year or two that he was with us, but he ended up passing on the job. Well, not because of us, but long story behind that. But anyway, he passed. But my thing is, the amount of time that he was with us, he knew about God. He was able to, you know what I'm saying? God knew what he was doing during that time. He did not go to jail the entire time he was with Harden Enterprise, and he became family to us.
Yeah.
The girls even loved him. Like
eulogy.
he preached his eulogy. It was just one of those to where he just became family. But here's the thing, God will put people in your life when it comes to business for a season, just like he does in real life. He will put them in your life for a season and sometimes for a long time. But yeah,
we got to make a shift here because, man, we can be on this journey for a long time.
I love it.
Going forward. So I want to bring something out here to highlight is that, so I want y'all to talk, especially Miss Jasmine and Mr. Ford, to the fact that there's a lot of people out there who the husband is trying to make the business work and told the wife, just take care of the kids and do what you do, and I'm going to do this. Or a lot of wives that say, I'm going to do my own thing. Y'all remind me of us because we learned the power. You said, Mr. Ford, that you didn't know much about technology, but Miss Jasmine did. And one thing I learned about Miss Jasmine is like, woo, if you give her a door, she's going to run in and get everything. You say you got 25 minutes to go in this room and get everything you need.
She's going to grab everything. She's going to come out halfway through that, push everything out from the first round and go back and finish up and bring it all out. I'm like, baby, you didn't literally mean everything. You took everything.
I love it though. So talk to us about, and talk to that couple out there or that person that's trying to do myself, the power of using both gifts.
Well, one of the things I will say is that when we got engaged, because we did not date before we got married, right? So that's a whole different story. But the Lord chose each other for us. And I remember the first time we did tag team preaching. He had proposed to me, and we did this tag team preaching. But when we were on the way here, because we were living in California, we came to Texas, and there was something happened in the airport, and we had to figure some stuff out together. And it was the first time I felt the anointing of the Lord upon us as a couple. And it was amazing because I'm like, two are better than one, but it was a beautiful thing. I could feel the Holy Spirit in the midst of us as he was working things out and I was working things out. Something happened and we worked together. And I felt like I had been in a church service because we were doing what God designed for us to do. When you were married, there are certain things that your husband's going to be strong in, and there's certain things that you're going to be strong in that he's not, and vice versa. And so when you come together, and usually, like, my husband can run numbers in his head. I'm still carrying the 1 and carrying the 2. And he's got the whole thing figured out. He can take measurements and convert them to whatever we need them to be in his head. And I'm still like, okay. And I just let him talk because he's so brilliant at it that I just let him, he's like, okay, baby. So if we have this number, then that means blah, blah. And I just nod my head like I know what he's talking about, but I don't. I just, because that's his gift. And I have to be very specific. But what I do know is that I have been called to be a helpmeet for him. Right. So when we step into business together, God puts an anointing on the relationship and we begin to learn how to flow. And your husband may say, oh, I got it, babe. But ask the Lord and say, but babe, can I help you? Because I'm telling you, he is released to do what he does the best. And then I'm not stressing over, like, if I have to convert something, your wall would be a hot mess because that's not my gifting. But God put something special, and you're sharing in the struggles, but you're also sharing in the victories. Yes. And that's what I love, because our relationship has gotten, I would say, so much stronger because this is just a different level. You think that, the anointing comes from, we go to church together, we pray together, we preach and all of that. But there's a different level. And it's very exciting. It is very exciting to go to war together in business. It's very exciting that we're bouncing ideas off of each other. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I was so excited. Like, we're not one of those couples that I don't do like girls' night out and things like that, because he's my best friend. And I don't knock anyone who does, but I don't need that. I love spending time with him. So when COVID happened, COVID was devastating for the economy. It was devastating for people who lost families. For us in our household, it was the best thing ever to us, because I got to spend all day with my best friend. And then the Lord called us to move to another state, and then we get to spend all our time together. But I feel like a warrior with my husband.
I love y'all, man.
And we're pressing forward together and expanding territory together. There's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And so I'm just excited to be with him, to stand next to him. I prayed specifically that God would give me a husband that I admired. And so I've always admired him, but he's working here, I'm working there. But when we came together, I get to admire him close up. And so it's been a beautiful, beautiful experience for us. So
I bring, go ahead, brother. Fast forward.
One of my favorite scriptures is first chapter of James, when he says, you need to count it all joy when you go through prayer. Just look, you're not under attack. This is just the testing of your faith. Yeah. You know, he wants us to be mature and complete, and we are together. So he wants us to mature together. And look, when you're on the high point of the mountain and you're looking down and there's no worries about your bank account, everybody can be happy together. But how are you guys going to respond to each other when you're going through some tough times?
Yeah, that part.
You know, and those are the parts that I appreciate that we've grown so much in. Like, you know, it's not hard when you can go to the store and buy your wife a new pair of shoes every day. And, you know, all those are great days. I love those days. I rejoice in those days.
Me too.
But I also love that we can love each other the exact same way. Even I'm doing, you know, the installation part of it, and she's doing the computer part of it, and I have to repeat myself 7 times because she doesn't understand a word that I'm saying. Now, you know, God is teaching me patience. He's saying, look, but she don't understand, but she could tell you 100 times, hey, babe, I just downloaded and programmed and did this. And I'll be like, look, I don't even know the lingo.
Right.
But that's what makes the ebb and the flow so good. But you have to just trust. First, you have to trust the Lord. Second, you have to be faithful. And third, man, you got to have compassion for one another, because if not, you'll fold the business. She'll go back to her job. You'll go back to doing what you're comfortable doing. And then you, like you said, you're going to take that mantle that is already on you and putting it back on the shelf somewhere. And who knows the generational wealth and, you know, passing this inheritance to your children's children, what it could have came to. So
I bring that up because, you know, that's how we got to here, because of the intuitiveness of Miss Ford. You know, even though we knew them before, we didn't know them in business. And we just created a platform called the Lion's Den. And I guess she heard about it through a mutual friend. And I'll never forget, whenever I started pastoring, my wife went out and I was very territorial. And I don't want to listen to a lot of people, and don't keep bringing me all this extra crap in here telling me that you want me to be like this man and do like that pastor. So my wife was very reluctant to bring this one pastor to us. And when she did, it changed our life because it opened us up to many more opportunities. But I never would have found that if it wasn't for my wife being a help me, even against my stubbornness. And so we sitting here and we get a word that this couple, we was testing out this database that was building over a year, called the Lion's Den. And you want to tell them a little about the Lion's Den, baby, and what it's about, and what Miss Jasmine dove into and went in for 20 minutes and got everything out?
I said both of them, Pastor Ford as well. Both of them dived in and just cultivated. I don't know what you want to say. They just balled it up and did what we prayed that someone would do.
Yes.
Within this Lion's Den. My husband and I started, like I said, I think it was 2001 during the pandemic. We were like, y'all, God told us in 2019 to start a business. And God started connecting us with people. And so in 2020, we got our LLC, you know, and then we got connected with our business coach. And after I think 2021, we flew to Washington with our business coach to learn from them. And oh my God, they messed us up, because we get in this room, and in this room with people that were minority people on top of that messed us up. And so being in that room, and you got one person that has 20 acres and they're building apartment complexes, and you have another person that has a whole entourage of truck drivers and women that are truck drivers, and she has a whole trucking business. And then you have another person that is there that has a nursing, I think she was in nursing somewhere, and she opened up a whole facility.
But the woman selling water in bottles. Yeah,
a woman selling water, and the government was paying her because she just put a sign on top of the water. Anyway, that just messed me up. I was a little hater for a minute. Like, what? Let me go get a bottle of water, but that is not your call. No, make sure you stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. That was not my calling, but I took a picture with her because I know that she is a multi-millionaire because of her water that she just created. And everybody in there looked normal. That's what I love about it. They didn't look like money. They didn't look like, they knew how to preserve and knew how to budget and taught us that. And so after going through that and being a part of her community and learning from her, we continue to learn on our own. And we notice I'm like you with my amazing husband. Now he's a lady forward. Pastor Patrick, I'm more like you. I'm just laid back. Just give me, marketing and let me just do that. But he's very intuitive, very deep dive and go find it. And he's a go-getter. And I knew that in him. And he would sit, like he said, he would be stubborn. So in the midst of that, he started looking and learned how to get our own LLC on his own. He did the paperwork. He did everything. He got us Hub certified, which is a certification that you learn about in our database. We also have our other certifications that we gained, which put us in a place of getting all of these emails to go after bids for the government that has lined us up with that. And so with that, we was like, man, one day we just sitting like, I wish we could just tell everybody about this, right? We were like, we need to tell everybody about this. And so I was like, no, babe, what we need to do, because everybody doesn't want to hear this. Everybody does not want to be a business owner. Everybody does not want to go through this. But those that do, let's create something that they can go in, and everything you learned, we'll put in this database. Everything I've learned, we'll put in this database, even from us getting our truck and getting items in our LLC. We have a house in our LLC. We got a truck in our LLC, putting the paperwork that nobody else has to. We want to get people to do it. I don't want to say the easy way, but whatever we know, and we put all this stuff in a database. And so when we put it in a database, before the database, we started doing meetings with other business owners and just inviting them to this meeting. And people were showing up like droves because they also saw our testimony online. I'm not going to say our testimony. They saw our business thriving online. And so they saw it on our Harden Enterprise Facebook page, YouTube, and all that. And so with that, they started showing up and we would talk about different things. And everything we talked about, we put it in that database. And so we were like, okay, now we have a database that you can be a part of. But I was like, babe, no, people don't pay attention until they pay.
Yes.
When you pay attention.
Yes.
If you don't pay
something, you take advantage of it.
You take advantage of it and you're going to pay attention. But those that were showing up, we noticed that they were just showing up, but really not taking what we were saying. And come here, pause, part.
Wasting our time.
Wasting our oil. Come here. Not just your time, but your oil. You're wasting what you know. So long story short, we started the Lion's Den and people started joining. We were surprised. They started paying for what they wanted and paying attention. And so we built this network. And on this network, it started growing. And we were like, okay.
It was just a network. It was just a small network with data, with no accountability. That was the main thing it was. It was just data with no accountability. And I found out some people was going in there, and this is the best way I put it, they would go in and just get access to artillery of weapons that we had put up and come out with not the training on how to use the weapons. And about it, I can tell my daughter, go in and get the gun right quick and come out here. But if she don't know what she's doing, she could hurt herself, hurt somebody else. And sometimes people would do that. And it was going in, they were getting the stuff, but they didn't know how to use it. They were trying their best to get it as cheap as they could with less involvement with others they could. But when you do that, it wasn't really empowering. Now y'all were the not the norm. Y'all was very intuitive. You went in there and you went in there with some experience and grabbed a hold to all the stuff and came out and build a better business.
Oh, amen.
Amen.
But we still knew, even though you was able to do that, we still knew something that y'all needed and something we needed is that continual connection, that continual relationship. Because one thing I learned about entrepreneurship every day, something I told people that we got to stop doing in this entrepreneur world. It's 2 words. I did at the church the other day, this past Saturday. I told everyone to take out a piece of paper, rip out a small piece of paper, and write on the bottom of it 2 words: self-made. And I told them when they get through writing on it, ball it up as small as you can and throw it away and never use words in your vocabulary ever again. What we found out is that we're going to continue to learn out here, and now we're going to continue to learn. Like you just said, you're going to continue to learn, and us being connected together. If I ever get a check that my bank tell me I got to wait 91 days,
come on,
I'm gonna immediately come to the Lions Den small business community and say, hey, have any of y'all ever had a check that they told you had to wait 91 days to get access to? Before you raise your hand and say, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. We've been there. This is what to do. That's the power. We found out that day when y'all did what y'all did, that we found out some things y'all know, some things we know. We want to go beyond just being a network. We want to be a small business community to where now we are a family. Nothing against the Caucasian America, nothing at all. But we're playing catch up in this world. We went from be real, most African Americans, not saying that Caucasian America cannot be part of this group, you can, but we went from being slaves to being self-employed. We just only thing about it, we had a little bit extra money, but we were still somewhat of a slave. Then we become employees. It's not very many years. We've been matriculating as business owners. And so Caucasian American and other groups have been doing this for years. We're trying to learn off the crumbs. That's why I thank God for organizations that allow us to become Hub certified, getting us a head up, allowing us to become minority-owned businesses. The reason those things out there, not to give us a handout, is to get us a step forward.
Yes.
Overcome years of neglect and understanding. And the worst thing we do, because African-American culture, we are programmed to become self-made. We don't know how to walk side by side other African-Americans and support one another.
Right.
We think we're still in competitive mode. We're great in track. We're great in basketball. We're great in football because we are natural competitors.
Yes.
But the Caucasian America, no, we don't care. We don't care about competition. We care about collaboration. So we realize that we got to convert, because what happened, competition is run the room, get as much as you can for free and run out. Whenever you have y'all from California, when you have a big riot, people run in and they get as much as they can in this thing and run out. And guess what they run into? Black businesses. Destroying each other, trying to get as much as they can from each other. So we was getting the same thing. People trying to run in quickly again and run out. When you say, hey, run in, I got access to you, now teach me.
Yeah.
We wasn't taught that.
Yeah.
So we decided to develop from what the Force did. The Force came in, and I want you to kind of real quick, Force, talk about what happened when you got in the room of the Lions Den.
I love the laugh.
Can we just share, because you offer a 30-minute free consultation. And so as an introductory, so you can get to know us. And so we called and got on a Zoom. And what did you say for every minute that you were on?
Oh, wow. Because look, it was supposed to be 30 minutes and we were on for an hour and 15 minutes. And every minute I was on, all the things that I would have probably never really researched and went to that next level. Oh, you guys just kept blessing us more and more and more.
And we hadn't even signed up yet. And we had met mentors or coaches who pour like that. It's like some of them will hold a little bit back because they're wanting you to sign up for my program. I'll teach you more. But we didn't even know the questions to ask. Like when you were in business, when you were saying earlier, Bishop, about, somebody said, oh, can you do this? Yes. The answer is always yes. And we figure out later. Right. But like sometimes we don't know the questions to ask to get to where we need to go. And I feel like I ask great questions, but if I don't even know, I have no idea what even to ask for. You guys started asking us questions like, well, what about this? And what about that? And we're like, what is that? I'm well-researched. I love to do research. I am a Google queen, but like, there are things you were asking us and you guys are so cute. You guys are kind of like, yeah. And it was just so awesome to have someone pour with no expectation that we would ever sign up, that you would ever talk to us again. And that was powerful. So when we finally did sign up, and we were still talking about, I took so many notes just from the free consult, right? But when I signed up and I went through like from the beginning, even there were some things that we'd already done. I was like, no, because there's probably a little nugget there. I just went because you are so well-versed and you want people to succeed. There was no holding back. There was no like, well, they didn't ask me the question, so I'm not going to share that part. You were just like, well, what about this? What about that? We were like, well, what about that? What are we supposed to do? it was so exciting because we mentor couples, we mentor single people all the time. And one of our core values is if I share something with you that's going to change your life or, keep you from death's door, and we're pouring into you. And that one thing you don't do, you come back to me months later and now it's worse, from whatever happened. Our goal is that if you don't do what we've asked you to do, what we feel like the Holy Spirit is telling us to teach you, and then you come back, I don't want to mentor you anymore because I want you to take hold of something, run with it. So when you come back to me, we can keep building. But there's building, we keep going in circles, then I'm not the mentor for you. So when I get if you give me a little nugget of something, I want to take a hold of that because it's priceless. You guys have been through the trenches. You have learned a lot of things. And if you're going to help us to not have to go through that, there are other things we're going to have to go through because that's just business. That's just life. But if you don't deign to be gracious enough to give me a little bit of advice, how dare I not take a hold of it and implement it quickly? So we're about, you give us advice and we're going to implement it quickly, immediately, because then there are other things we have to grow and learn. So I was floored because I had never seen a database like that where you're working through, and there was one video where you actually walk the whole topic through with someone, and you guys are going through and looking at whatever it was, and I was like, okay, this is amazing, because I could see what issues we'd run into, and it was like on the job, in the moment training, and I loved it, and I was just floored, and I felt like this is going to help us get to the next level. You guys come from a magnanimous, generous heart, and I just have not seen that. I've seen, let's just hold back and give that a minute. Maybe next semester we'll work on it, but baby, we are in the trenches and we were in a war, and you guys are the ones that we want to be in that battle with us to take us to the next level. So I just love it.
And look, I think of it like this. Sometimes I'll look up a recipe on Google, and you got to read 14 pages of stuff before they actually give you the recipe at the end of all of it.
Right.
I don't like the 14 pages of stuff. Just give me the recipe. And that's what you guys were to me that morning. You just didn't give me all this lingo, theory and this and that. No. You guys gave me the recipe. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that, because I'm more like, look, let's just get to the topic. Let's just get to what needs to be said and what needs to be done. Then, I'll be more inclined to hear, the meaning of the tomato and why it's grilled, why you do it like this, Let's just get to the recipe. And that's what I appreciate about you guys. The frequently asked questions are just scratching the surface of what you guys actually release upon the people who will get on the Lion's Den. Yeah, and believe me, we're not getting paid for this, y'all. We are just the recipients of this.
And that's the thing, and I want to say thank y'all, because what y'all did for us, y'all gave purpose, y'all gave product to our purpose.
Yes, and I would add, we like I said. And I'm going to say this because it is necessary to that business owner that's listening. When we found out that our business within a year made $1 million business, I didn't say us, I said business. When we saw that, we realized that we got to tell somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much money out here.
But that's not normal. I'm telling you, that mindset is not normal. It's very rare. Most people are like, oh, just keep getting what I can get. But that's when we love you guys.
Or here's the seminar, and we'll take you this far today, but when you pay us this much, we'll take you that much further tomorrow. But we're never going to get you to the finish line. It's just we're going to keep paying into it and paying into it.
It's too. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sweetheart.
It's too much out. When we found out in that room in Washington that it's so many opportunities out here. And why not create a platform where we can all win together? Meaning that if the Fords if we find a contract and they need lighting, because we're part of a community together, I know somebody that can do lighting. Let's partner together, because we're going to get a cut, you're going to get a cut. Let's be real. Right? Meaning, but we all get a cut.
Amen.
And we learned that in Washington, and it's not all about the money, but it's like if we can find opportunities for other people and other people can find opportunities, that's true partnership. Partnership is not you coming together and, we're going to get a real estate and we're going to buy a house together and we're going to split it. Why are we going to do that? You go get your house, I go get me a house. And that's how we going. And if I find one down the road and you find one down, and if you want me to come get the house, so you buy it and I buy it from you, that's true partnership. Partnership is not us coming in together because we don't think alike. So I'm not going to partner with you and split money with you. Say that again.
We're not going to invest the same amount of time either. We're going to split money, but the time ain't split.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So
tweet that.
Yeah.
Partnership is not splitting money, and for a fact you spending more time over there. There's no way you can adequately divide time and money together. It's never going to match up.
But if you go get a contract, come here, and that contract is $100,000 contract, and we give you the contract and we get 10%. That's a fair deal. It's different, but you get the rest of the contract. We just want 10%. Because anyway, but go ahead, Bishop. So this here, because we got to get done. Yeah, I thank y'all so much. This has been, I pray that person that is listening. But Bishop, you was going to say something. I don't want to cut you off.
I don't know. I can't remember. But I just know that the one thing I wanted to be known is that as they came in and they took part of this information, when we were doing it, we didn't ever intend on charging people. We wanted to just give everything away. And we realized when we give everything away, people were coming in and they would say, "Can you send me that video?" They wouldn't even come get it for free. Can you come send me that video? Can you send me that video y'all did? I couldn't come. Now we here on a Sunday evening after I done preached all day long on a Sunday evening why can we spend time with my family? And you want me to get on by myself, record myself, and send it to you at your convenience. So you know what? I'll tell you what, we're going to create a place you can go get it, just pay $25, because when people pay, they pay attention.
Yes.
And so, and that's how all this got started. That's the only reason why, because we realized quickly that Bishop would have told us a long time ago. He said these words: God can trust you. God can trust you. I didn't know what that meant. And I see now that it means that as we get access to it, he knows we're going to share it. God can't give some things to some people because they're going to get it and they're going to use it off for themselves. It's one thing that when we started our business and we didn't know the magnitude of it, but one thing we did know is with my background and my wife experience that God was going to give us access to rooms not everyone was welcomed in. And my job was to get in those areas and then open the door for people to come behind us. I realized then the problem with some of us, we can't recommend people because they don't look like what the position is asking for. And we try to get people connected as an African American culture. We try to hook them up, but we didn't realize they didn't fit the position we tried to put them in. Now they made themselves look bad and us. What we want to do is open a door, see what the qualifications are, come out and give your business a makeover. So now when I invite you in, you look like the part. Hang in there with you and continue growing you. So we both walk in before they know it. They didn't know it. They look up, they got 4 or 5 businesses in there. Let me tell you a secret right now for those who are listening and thinking that your blackness is stopping you from getting opportunity. It's not your blackness, it's your lackness. And because people out there don't care about what color you are. They know what color green. And I tell people all the time, businesses don't pay people, they pay paper. About I'm not getting a chance. No, you're not giving yourself an opportunity because you're looking for someone to give you something for free. You got to pay with your time. You got to pay with your money. You got to pay with your lifestyle. You got to pay with your attitude. You got to pay with your dress attire. You got to look like what they are required. The government got requirements for their money.
Yes.
The more they give away, the more they get. So what the Lions Den community going to do, we're going to tell you how to look. We're going to tell you what your paper should look like. We're going to tell you what you need to throw away. My daughter graduated and she put on her resume her high school accomplishments. Nothing against her. She just didn't know no better. A lot of us are putting out there things that people don't care about. We're going to put on the paper they really do care about. So maybe I'm excited about the Fords. The Ford has given us purpose. And we was wondering, will this work? We kept on trying to get somebody to give us a chance. Let us grow your whole business from the ground up to see what we've learned. Is it replicable? Is it something we can reproduce more and more and more? I came in, cut in line, and took over and say, you know what? We'll do it. If nobody doesn't want to let y'all do it, we'll do it. And I say thank you. Y'all literally gave purpose. Y'all gave product to our purpose. Go ahead, baby. I'll cut you off, baby.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't cut me off, baby. That was good. That was good information, because I think businesses don't realize that you can't just go out here doing business any kind of way.
No.
And expect $1 million contracts. Expect 100,000. People want to do business with good people, and especially if you want to do business with your city, with your state. There's a difference. So I want to say this last thing, and we're done. I don't know if I'm gonna have to break this down or what, but last thing I want to ask you guys is, what would you tell that person that want to start a business, that's in their business, or want to scale their business? Why should they join the Lion's Den?
Well, I don't think that you're going to get any better business coaches than the Hardens. I mean, hands down, they give you actionable advice and direction, not, like my husband said, not theory, not fluff, and then you have to wade through it to get to the bottom of it. I'm talking about it's actionable. You take it, and if you implement it, it works because they've been through it. A lot of times you have business coaches that teach on things they don't even know about, that they haven't even done themselves. But when I tell you, they are teaching us things that we didn't know. I am a college grad. You know, I pride myself on knowing things, and there was stuff I was like, wait, what in the world? And so I'm telling you, each video is very detailed, and the Lion's Den, it's on demand. So you can choose different topics, things that you're working through, whether it's marketing or the building the infrastructure for your business. It works. And I'm very excited because I can watch one video and just go and do, watch and do. And that's how you have to be, going from self-employed to having a viable business. We want something that a company that builds generational wealth, and they're helping us to do that. Within the first hour that we met them, they were already pouring into us. And so it is we highly recommend the Lion's Den. It is well worth your time and your money. There are a lot of, we've done a bunch of coaching, we've done a lot of stuff, but there's been nothing like this. So
and it goes even deeper than that. There's a whole community of people. I mean, the last time I was on a Zoom call, there was at least 10 other, at least 9 people on there with us. So like it says, you're not just getting the mentorship that they give you so personably, with them. There's a whole bunch of people out there that have the same goals, the same dreams, the same aspirations, the same determination. And when you're involved in a bunch of people like that, it's contagious. You be more encouraged to, keep fighting this good fight. Let's keep pressing on, because look at all them. They're pressing too. And you feel like you're a part of something. And one day, I always just pictured, after I was on that last Zoom call, like, wow, one day we'll probably be at a conference with 3,000-4,000 people. And we'll be like, no, we started on a Zoom call. Right. MIT graduate, or I graduated from I graduated from the California Institute of Correction. Man. But we just, God bless, I believe prayer is going to be essential in everything that you do. You have to lay it at the Lord's feet and say, Lord, if you don't do it, it probably won't get done. Yeah. Help me in all my ways, and just make sure that I stay focused on what the purpose that you have placed before me. Mm-hmm. And then you get involved with the Hardens, you get involved with the Lion's Den, and then there's so much more community that is going to bless you.
Yes.
We're excited. And I'm going to say this last part, I'm going to pass to my wife. This has been a blessing to me, even reconjuring up some of the old thoughts and the purpose and the reason why. It gives me refuel to keep going. I only know this database is going to turn into a university. This university is going to turn into, different, areas and zones. Like I say, nothing against anyone else, but our African-American culture need us to share our experiences. This is no more competition. It's about collaboration.
Yes.
And the reason why
people's hearts and into their minds, we will see growth. I mean, we'll expand the territory, like the Lord said. We will be the lender and not the borrower. We will be the head and not the tail.
Come on.
And I say there's a reason why the Lion's Den was birthed. I got to give credit due. I read a book called Instinct by T.D. Jakes. Mm-hmm. If you're out there, you're trying to make it happen. If you don't even want to trust us, go read Instinct. And he talked about how each one of us got a lion on the inside of us. Mm-hmm. in a zoo. The zoo represents the Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They have caged up a natural ability and using it at their discretion. Mm-hmm. And they call it employment. but every one of you feel like every day I'm bigger than this. I was designed to be in this cage. But if you go and they drop you off in the jungle that you keep talking about that you belong in to walk, you'll die if you don't hurry up and partner up with other people who was in the jungle before you. So even if you're a lion and you jump out there, they open the cage, go out there and be a lion. And you come back with your tail tucked between your legs because they know that you don't have the lion mindset. But they drop you off with some other lions and they let you walk in the jungle with people and this who've been here before, they know you'll never come back again.
Come on, Bishop.
Empower you. That's where the lion den comes from. GD told me there's a lion instinct, and I remember having that lion instinct in me for years, sitting in that job, and they're saying they're bottling up my gift and making millions off of me. I know I can do this, but I'm afraid because they didn't tell me the things that's going to sustain me while I'm out there. They didn't tell me how I'm going to pay my medical benefits, how I'm going to pay my medical insurance. They are scaring me, telling me I can't afford to walk alone. We want you to come to the Lions Den, and we're going to tell you, come here. We know all the watering holes at. We know where the best hunting places are at. We know where the best places are at. Come walk with us in the Lions Den, and you'll never go hungry.
What he said.
Amen.
Exactly what he said.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. So, okay, we're done. Thank y'all for it so much. We appreciate y'all because we're going to rock out with them for just a second. But listen, every listener that's listening, you might ask yourself this question. What is this about and how much do it cost? I know, sugar. Let's go ahead and tell you right now. It is $59 a month, but you have to buy for 3 months, which is $177. You buy it for 3 months. You can be a part of the Lions Den for 3 months. You'll get a one-on-one with Bishop and myself to assess your business with that 3 months to be able to kind of find out where you are. But you could be a part of the Lions Den for 3 months for $177. Or right now until September 1st, you can be a part of the Lions Den for a year for $400. For a year for $400. If you are a part of, if you want to sign up now.
Every 2 weeks, twice a month, we're going to meet and go over your business and see how you're doing.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks, we meet in a group coaching session. But with that $400 deal, you're able to get 2 sessions with us, 1 assessment. And then throughout the year, if you want to do a one-on-one with us, just to kind of see where you are in business, that is a free session that you have with us. Other than that, you're going to get deals on different things that we're going to be doing throughout the year and workshops and seminars and all that great stuff. But until September 1st, $400. After that, it's going to be $600 a year. $600 a year where you can be a part of this every other Sunday, group coaching with us, as well as other things that are going on within the Lions Den, and you might get a little gift in your
right now.
Pocket. Yes, so also, come
now. You get grandfathered in. Your renewal will be $400 going forth, but if you get in after September, it'd be $600, and your renewal will be $600 every time.
Yes, so. Those that are already a part, we thank y'all so much for believing in us. Thank the Fords for believing in us. We thank the Fords because they were able to activate some stuff in us to upgrade this particular database. And we thank them for it because we saw the value in it. And so we want you to come be a part of that. $59 for 3 months, $177, or until September 1st, $400 or $600 a month after that. I mean, $600 a year after that. Hey, you better get on now because you don't know.
Man, before it is $600 a month.
Hello. But we thank y'all so much. All the listeners that's out there, all the viewers that are watching, thank y'all for rocking out. Thank God for the Fords. Go check out their information. Give them your website one more time. Let them know where to reach you.
It's ThyKingdomComeProductions.com.
ThyKingdomComeProductions.com. Make sure you go check them out. See where they are. If you want to know
more things from them, you signs, boards. Tell your pastors.
Tell your pastors and your leaders. Upgrade their ministry. Yes. Be a part of that. If you want to find out more about Harden Enterprise Services LLC, the Lions Den, you can go to our website. You can also be a part of our free community on Facebook. It is free.com. You won't get as much, but you will give it enough. Again, thank y'all for rocking out with us. If you don't remember anything else, remember, you are a product of God's grace and mercy. When you learn to see yourself through God's eyes and not people, stay blessed.
Amen.